This is an article which I wrote aimed at parents to tackle the issue of mental health and well-being. Although I understand you aren't the target audience for this letter, I hope that you'll find it equally as important. If you were to be stood in your child's classroom right now, statistics indicate that at least 3 of your child's fellow pupils, or perhaps even your child, will have a diagnosable mental health disorder. This is based on statistics published by Young Minds on their website, which indicates that 1 in 10 young people aged 5 to 16 suffer from a diagnosable mental health disorder. Facts that I'm sure sadden and shock you. Unfortunately, despite organisations and charities trying to educate our nation about children and adolescent mental health, I still believe both young people and adults are still not educated enough. Disorders that are sometimes seen as taboo, such as depression, eating disorders and self-harm, are on the rise, and if people are not properly educated on these disorders, they will continue to rise and the problems will continue to worsen. Nearly 80,000 children and young people deliberately self-harm, and the majority of eating disorders develop during adolescence. Nearly 80,000 children and young people suffer from severe depression, and between 1 in 12 children and young people deliberately self-harm, and the majority of eating disorders develop during adolescence. These disorders are preventable, and if everyone were to be properly informed about the prevention of these disorders, these statistics would become a thing of the past. Recently, it has become apparent to me that I do not believe I have one friend who is happy with the way they look. I have witnessed my friends cry, shout, and put themselves through unnecessary diets in order to change the way. I have witnessed my friends cry, shout, and put themselves through unnecessary diets in order to change the way they look. However, what upsets me the most is that I too do not like the way I look, and when I see friends who I deem prettier or slimmer than myself talk about themselves in such a negative way, it has a tendency to make me feel as if I will never measure up. I know I am not the only young person who has ever felt this way, nor will I be the last, but that is why I appeal to you reading this. I am asking you not only to speak to your children about body image, but also to remain positive about your own body image, because self-esteem can be a domino effect. If you are speaking negatively about the way you look, it is more likely to damage your children, and they will pick up on this and develop an unhealthy view of their own body image. Body image issues in adolescence can lead to depression, self-harm, and eating disorders, which could sadly be discovered by parents when it's too late. A mental health disorder that is becoming a common issue that I'm seeing among young people in my area is self-harm. The amount of people at my age who I know that have deliberately self-harmed themselves is both upsetting and tragic. What upsets me more is that these young people had their scars as well as their feelings from their friends and family. The more these emotions are bottled up, the more serious the problem that the more these emotions are bottled up, the more serious the problem their disorder becomes, with the majority of these feelings being caused by problems with their family or friends, feeling of loneliness or self-worth, or issues with their own family. Let me repeat that. The more these emotions are bottled up, the more serious the problem of the disorder can become, with the majority of these feelings being caused by problems with their friends, a feeling of loneliness or lack of self-worth, or issues with their own family. I have no doubt that many people reading this article will feel uncomfortable with reading or discussing the issue of self-harm. But that to me is the main problem which causes these rising statistics. Just trying to gain statistics on self-harm is difficult because so many young people have yet to admit to self-harming or are hiding their problem. Around 90% of young people treated for self-harm in ALE will have taken an overdose, and yet the most preferred method of self-harm is to cut. Around 90% of young people treated for self-harm in A&E will have taken an overdose, and yet the most preferred method of self-harming is to cut, which means that in many cases, with young people struggling to come to terms with self-harm, have not found the correct attention from health services. Self-harm should not be a taboo subject, and the more it is spoken about, the more preventable it can become. The more young people could be helped, and on a more serious level, lives could be saved. There are many other mental health disorders affecting young people which I have not mentioned, but are equally as important and need to be spoken about. So I urge all readers of this article to educate themselves on these disorders. Childline, for example, offers help over the phone to young people and online. Young Minds, the voice of young people's mental health and well-being, offer Parent-Child Liaison as a full website of information for parents who suspect their child may have a mental health disorder, or who are aware of their child's mental health disorder and are in need of support. The charity's website also offers a lot of useful information about mental health and well-being disorders, so anybody can educate themselves. So even if you do not feel your child is comfortable speaking to you, or you do not feel